Well, it's a slightly drizzly morning here in Sydney, Australia, where we've decided to do something a little different.
Now turn left onto Stanley Street.
So it's a little bit rainy out today, but a good day for a very interesting video. Basically, in about January, I had a realization. Every year when the iPhone comes out, there's news about customers getting their orders in Australia and New Zealand because the time difference means that it's Friday about 14 hours earlier than it is in the US. So if you're a YouTuber with a harebrained idea, you could theoretically get on a flight, come to Australia, and get the iPhone a little bit before everyone else. And so that's exactly what I did. Oh, I want to wait until I'm holding them in my hand. I don't want to touch it until I unbox it. Look at it go. Time to go. So yeah, I flew to Australia so that I could get these like 14 hours early. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wow, what a dumb YouTuber gimmick. Yes, that's exactly right. But you know what? It was worth it. Even though I'm standing in the rain in front of the Sydney Opera House and the Harbour Bridge, I got the iPhones early. We've had a ton of fun. So for your viewing pleasure today, I've got a green 15, a blue 15 Pro, and the natural titanium 15 Pro Max. And I've intentionally not even touched one of these phones yet because I want my complete first experience to be on camera. But not here because it's kind of wet and gross out. So let's go get to the people who paid to make this actually possible. Today's review is sponsored by BetterHelp, the accessible platform that aims to bring the benefits of therapy to more people. Whether you have diagnosed depression or anxiety, or if you want help achieving a goal in your life, BetterHelp is here for you. Their mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. A dually important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area or insurance network. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and with just a few questions, it can help you find a therapist in as little as a few days. And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, it's easy to switch to a new therapist at no additional cost, and without having to worry about insurance, travel times, or anything like that. It's easy to sign up. Check out the link in the description below or head to betterhelp.com/LukeMiani to learn more and save $10 off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. Big thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring this review, and now let's get back into it. Guys, I am so excited. I think I picked a good year to do this wacky harebrained trip and come all the way to Australia to get a couple of iPhones. This year, I think the hype is definitely real, and I cannot wait to get my hands on these. And I think we gotta start with the regular iPhone 15. This one, I have a feeling people are sleeping on. I think the iPhone 15 Pro and the Pro Max are great, but I was actually pleasantly surprised with the updates that Apple had this time around for the regular phone. Oh, look at that. I got it in green, which might have been a mistake. I will say, the colors are not my favorite. Does this even look green on camera? Look, here it is on a white desk. What were they thinking? But man, I have to say that frosted back glass, I'm so glad that has made it to the normal phone. It really does feel more premium. Ooh, that looks really, really good. Also, that the edges being more rounded, that's something that doesn't really show up all that well in pictures, but you can really feel the difference. It feels a lot more comfortable and a little less sharp. Still though, very disappointed that we only get a white braided USB-C cable. Do I at least get a green Apple sticker? No, what? Or is this, I feel like I need to take this to a Home Depot and get them to paint scan it so I can tell what the color is. That's how faint they are, but I think this is white. And what the heck is a SIM tool doing in the box? You probably didn't see that in any of your other iPhone 15 unboxings, but because I'm outside of the US, this thing still has a SIM tray. And it also doesn't have millimeter wave, so there's no antenna cutout on the other side. So it does look a little bit different internationally, which is interesting. But let's move on to the iPhone 15 Pro. I got this in blue. I'm not really sold on the color, to be quite honest. Now, it does look pretty good, at least fresh out of the box. Oh, the titanium feels so good. I don't know, man, maybe it's just having a new phone, but this feels so expensive. I mean, it is. It's a $1,000 phone, it's not cheap, but it feels like a big upgrade. I'm still quite pleasantly surprised that we did not have a price increase this year, at least on the regular 15 Pro. But then we've got the Pro Max. Now, this boy is pricey. I got the 512 gigabyte because I couldn't get an earlier pickup time for the 256, but that's the new base model. So $11.99 US is what you're paying. And here in Australia with tax, this thing is pricey. Oh my goodness. But this is also natural titanium. Oh no, I messed up the peely strips. I've been on the Pro Max gang for a long time. I absolutely love the phones of this size. Honestly, as people have complained about battery life this whole entire cycle and last year and with the iPhone 12, the Pro Max will still get me through a day, and I'm hoping this is gonna be even better, but of course we're gonna test and find out. Oh, wow. That's a beautiful color. Look at that. It matches the Apple Watch so well. Oh, and the side rails aren't shiny anymore. That is the thing that has been, I love the look of the Pro. I always have. But the side rails being shiny, they always get dirty. They always get smudgy. The natural titanium with these titanium side rails, oh, that looks really good. Now it does get some fingerprints. I can already see that I have smudged it up a little bit. So I'm definitely not going to be ditching the 150 microfiber cloths that I stash around to clean phones. But man, this looks good. For the first time, we have 3 iPhones and they all have frosted back glass and they all have smooth but not glossy side rails. I honestly couldn't be happier. And I know I keep talking about that. Like it's a little bit much, Luke, is what you're probably thinking. Because I keep talking about the fact that the side rails aren't smudgy and that the back isn't smudgy. I haven't even talked about the cameras or the A17 Pro or the battery life or anything. But that's because honestly, I interact with my phone caseless because I'm insane. And having these smooth sides and the frosted glass together is something I've wanted for a really long time. Look at that. We got the triple iOS 17 setup going on here. I've definitely got a little bit of setting up to do, so let's go ahead and get these up and running and test out some of the key features that Apple showed off. All right, so after taking a bit of time to get to know the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max and the regular 15 as well, I think the hype was justified. I noticed that people have been reacting like crazy. My video after the event, the early reviews that have been coming out, people are really into this year's new iPhones. Now, they might not be showing up for the new colors in many cases, but I do think that we're going in the right direction and that the hype was justified. And honestly, the big standout so far for me has been the regular iPhone 15. This thing is actually really good. The rumors this year seemed lame as hell, but when you actually look at this thing, we get the new design. Okay, new is probably a strong word, but the slightly more rounded edges definitely make it more comfortable. The frosted back glass is more comfortable and more premium. We get the 48 megapixel camera, we get the dynamic island, and of course, all the phones get USB-C. Honestly, it's a pretty great phone. You can kind of think of this as an iPhone 14 Pro Lite, and I think that's a compliment because this thing is really good. That camera upgrade, especially the fact that you can get 48 megapixels without spending $1,000, that is really nice. I took a couple of side-by-side photos with the 15 and the 15 Pro, and I have to say, in a couple of scenarios, I think the 15 actually handles details better than the 15 Pro. I mean, look at the clarity in the surface of the brick and the wrought iron window grate in this photo. And in this one, I'm noticing that the trees seem to have more definition around the leaves. What is that all about? This is the entry-level phone. It's not supposed to look better. Do you agree? that it looks better, because to my eye it does. Now granted, that's not in all lighting conditions. I did an indoor shot, and if we zoom in on the light switch, you can definitely see the 15 Pro Max capturing more detail in the imperfections in the wall. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm definitely gonna have to dive into these cameras a lot more in depth. But the 15 Pro and Pro Max are definitely the star of the show in terms of new technologies, new features. I'm absolutely in love with titanium. This is something that I've been excited for ever since the rumor mill started printing it out a while ago, and it does not disappoint. I definitely recommend going to an Apple store and trying this out if you haven't, because the weight of this phone, the weight distribution of this phone is absolutely excellent. And I really like some of the new features that we've got on here, like the action button. That is phenomenal. The UI, when you set that up, looks simply gorgeous, and it has a ton of customization. Right now, I have it set up to just take a photo. That on its own is extremely useful, more useful than the mute switch was to me, because I would always just set it to mute and leave it forever. The only thing that I'm not really liking about it though is because it's not a switch that you can visually see is set to mute, they've moved that to the status bar. So when you turn on your lock screen, you'll see the mute icon over in the left-hand side, and when you unlock, it's next to the time. And I'm probably gonna get used to it eventually, but I don't like it over there. I would just rather it doesn't exist. But I am happy that that 5x telephoto lens exists, because man, am I looking forward to having more than 3x zoom. That focal length gives you a lot better range compared to the 14 Pro Max and the 15 Pro. It really does look good, but I'm a little disappointed that it's not on the regular iPhone 15 Pro as well. The 15 Pro zoom lens looks identical to the 14 Pro and the 14 Pro Max. So it's a little unfortunate that you have to pay that extra price to get those extra features. Oh God, all the phones are airdropping something to each other. Jesus Christ. God, I'm trying to hold all the phones next to each other, but they keep airdropping, so I'm just gonna have to do this. Overall, my thoughts on the new iPhone 15 series are very, very positive. There's a lot more that I want to test, so definitely get subscribed, because this is only the start. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you thought that this was a fun video idea. I know it was stupid flying to Australia to get these phones literally a couple hours early, but I've had a ton of fun. We went to New Zealand for a couple days before here, and it was absolutely gorgeous, but now I'm in work mode. I'm reviewing all the phones and all the stuff. So leave a like down below. Make sure to comment which of these phones and colors is your favorite, and I'll see you all in the next video.